We are the anchors of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we discuss the queer headlines. Caroline Rhea's comedy show at Sunshine Cathedral included jokes about Pedro Pascal's sexuality, sparking laughter and speculation about the sexuality among the audience. And you are going to hear me loud and clear.
Same-sex wedding at Trump's Mar-A-Lago as log cabin Republicans John Sullivan and partner Dan Medora tied the knot. Wait, what?
Stonewall in Stonewall? Exhibit honors the 55th Stonewall Uprising anniversary in Fort Lauderdale. The Stonewall National Museum will recreate the iconic bar for the 55th anniversary, complete with trans leaders being Marsha P. Johnson and Silvia Riviera. Fort Lauderdale's mayor and police department will be participating.
No mincing words. RuPaul's memoir, The House of Hidden Meanings, reveals encounters with Madonna portraying her as cold and transactional. Words like eunuch and weird that Madge is doing arena tours at 65.
Leah McSweeney from Real Housewives of New York City filed lawsuit against Andy Cohen and producers, alleging a toxic work environment and drug use. And this is not the first lawsuit against him.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily evening television news, broadcasting live and then available on demand. Available on all smart televisions, including Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. It's time to queer up the news. For Monday, March 4th, 2024. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ plus evening news show. Whatever happens unique in the LGBTQ plus news, you'll see it and hear it.
HOTspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ plus community. Our mission is to support the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ plus community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of our Black community, Latino, lesbians and queer women, trans students, youth, seniors, HIV/AIDS healthcare, business, social justice, and faith. Help us support our community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ plus nonprofit media companies in America, HOTspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network.
In 2024, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ plus experience, and our television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ plus and broader community.
So let's begin by meeting tonight's anchors at Queer News Tonight. We're welcoming Dr. Edward Summers. He's the ED of Pride Lines, Miami's LGBTQ Community Center. He served as a primary therapist and program director at Eye Care Treatment Center in West Palm Beach. He was also the founder and CEO of the New York-based nonprofit, The Thinkubator. Edward, Pride Lines is hosting a community performance and conversation event called Tease and Tell, the South Florida Burlesque Drag Mixer on March 17th. Tell me what's happening.
Yeah, so this is a major effort of Pride Lines to reach back out to the community and really build, our rapport with the community. So we had a couple of drag queens who came to us and said they would love for us to host like a mixer for them. And this is just for them and their community. So it's going to be a performance, cocktails and conversations, where they really get together as the community with each other.
I love that. So it's predominantly for drag entertainers,
yes,
and burlesque entertainers,
absolutely,
right?
Because they're so used to performing for us,
true,
everybody else, that they don't really like take time for themselves. And so this is a great opportunity for them to take time
industry
for
night.
So how are you?
It's like industry night.
But how do you entertain people that are so wonderful at entertaining us? You know what I mean? You get Matthew Darren to sing for them or something. That's what you got to do. Right. I'm just saying. Okay, we'll definitely look that up.
Yeah, no, it's going to be great. We're looking forward to doing this. Again, this is one of many efforts of us hosting at our new center, which we still got to get you to, Faye.
Yeah,
we will. But yeah, they came to us and they're like, you guys are the perfect partners for us, and we're like, why not?
I love that. I love that. And I saw you and your whole entire team at Winter Party yesterday looking immensely sweaty.
Yeah.
But amazing what Pride Lines, what you guys did for Winter Party.
No,
So
it
that's
was
wonderful.
it was a great honor. We're happy to partner, and we're here. Pride Lines is here. We're back, and it's been a great year so far. So
Look through my pictures. You'll see pictures of Ed without a shirt on.
I know.
And you'll thank me later.
I finally caved. After like hours and hours of them saying, "Take it off, take it off,"
And
I
he's
was like, "No,
I will not.
No,
No,
They finally-
I'm a lady.
Probably in
No.
a skinny tank top to begin with.
No, I wasn't.
Oh,
I
it was
in
like a full-fledged
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I never see
on the
you.
beach. I was working.
He was working. He was being
Had
professional.
all my team there. Had
Yeah.
volunteers
It
there.
hasn't stopped you before to be in a tank top.
That's very true.
Well, Pride Lines, we love you. Next up, let's welcome Glen Weinzimer, who was also topless yesterday. He owns Bona Italian
He was
restaurant
alone,
in
though.
Wilton Manor. Glenn is the founder of the Smart Ride, which raised over $16 million for HIV/AIDS. He is passionate about getting out the LGBTQ plus vote in this critical election year. Glenn, your Wilton Drive restaurant, Bona Italian, and the Aperitivo Gallery will host the Arts United opening reception with artist Diane Delaray. I hope I said her name right. On March 6th. Tell me what's happening.
So every month, the first of the month, we get a new artist from Arts United that's featured for the entire month. This month is actually Diane, and her stuff is fantastic. I got to see it yesterday for the first time. It's already up. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And we will host her, and you come on in. We have some complimentary hors d'oeuvres, some happy hour pricing, get to meet the artist, find out what motivates them. And so we do this every first Wednesday of the month.
I love that. So March 6th, what time?
It is 4:30 to 7.
Fantastic.
Yes.
All right, go and support. Next, let's welcome anchor Matthew Darren and his gorgeous hair. Matthew is an accomplished musician, performer, teacher, and DJ. He was a contestant on season 10 of American Idol and is currently traveling the moon performing his Loving Colors show. See, I went from the country to the moon.
I like
all right?
the moon, yeah.
Matthew,
Shoot for the
Matthew,
stars.
Matthew, so you're a star attraction for this week's Lauderdale Bear Week, including a major show at Hunter's on March 8th. Tell me what's happening.
Yeah, so March 8th, Friday night at Hunter's, Jonathan Hawkins and I are coming together. Jonathan Hawkins from the Crown and Anchor in P-Town.
P-Town.
Yeah.
Provincetown, for those of you who aren't in the know. Get in the know. We're coming together to produce just a wonderful concert series that's going to celebrate local artists from both cities coming together and collaborating and trying to build more of a community network across the globe with all of these. We have some incredible talent here.
Yes, we do.
You know what I mean? Like, I think what you're doing is amazing. The way you feature local artists with singers and just fine arts and all that is incredible at Bona. And there's a open door for us to connect across the country with other locations and help build up our local entertainers and give them a platform, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what Jonathan and I want to do. Friday's going to be a little taste of that.
With Tina Burner.
Tina Burner.
Tina
Oh my
Burner
God, I love
co-hosting.
her. I'm sorry.
Yes.
She's funny as hell.
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be a lot of fun. And actually, tomorrow night, I'll be with some of those same people. Jonathan Casañas will be there both nights.
Yes.
Tomorrow
Our
night,
favorite bear.
Todd Alsup's Elton Undressed will be hitting the stage at Hunter's as well. So if you want tickets for that, check out toddalsup.com. And if you would like tickets for Friday, check out MatthewDarren.com. 2 T's, 2 R's, only one me, MatthewDarren.com.
There is only one him. And I know Yoli's also a part of it, and I love her.
She'll be there
Oh my
tomorrow
God.
and Friday.
I love when, like you said, we have incredible local talent, and then you come and you bring us talent from P-Town or from someone else.
From New York.
And from New York.
Exactly.
And they become family. Like, they really do. They fit right in. Thank you for
and
everything
our
that you do.
local tatted violinist, Marcos.
Yes.
Marcos, I love
will be
him.
part of both shows. He's been a
He's amazing. He played at
huge
the
asset.
restaurant a couple of weeks ago. He's fantastic.
Yeah, and he also did the VIP reception for the winter party over the
That's
weekend.
right.
And he's
Yeah.
just an exceptional human being. Him and his husband, Michael. My God, what a
good
duo.
people.
They're gorgeous. Stop. Take it in. But they're also amazing people that do so much for their community as well. And I love that. Like, I don't know if anybody knew this, but Marcos, he literally gives a percentage of every show to some organization that's in need. He doesn't even tell people that.
Right.
You know what I
amazing.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
I love them. And I love everything that you do. So definitely go check out Matthew Darren's social and buy your tickets to be over there. Right. Next up, let's welcome anchor Gregg Shapiro. Gregg's 9th book, Refrain in Light, was selected for the Poetry Mutual 10 Best Poetry Books of 2023. His entertainment coverage, including celebrity interviews, runs in a variety of print and online publications. Gregg, you've been telling us about Broadway singer Melissa Errico and her life and loves of a Broadway baby at Aventura Center on March 10th. Tell me what's happening.
Well, Melissa Errico is truly a dynamic performer. She is a Broadway diva, but she's also got some CDs out. Her latest is Sondheim in the City. Is that coming? There we go. And it celebrates one of our community's icons, Stephen Sondheim.
Qué linda.
And when I interviewed her a couple of years ago and I asked her about her LGBTQ following, she said, quote, "When I go to Provincetown or a place like that, I have a little more fun. I talk about my sex life more. I feel a little more comfortable in my body. I feel supported right there for having highs and lows and having been through things and still putting on the tight dress. I feel understood in a different way than it would be with a conservative crowd where I wouldn't want to share everything about myself. Even if I don't say it, I feel accepted and relaxed."
Wow.
End quote. She's a doll. And she's married to Patrick McEnroe, for you sports ball people, who is John McEnroe's
Why'd you
brother.
do quotes around
The
that?
guy that used to like beat up people with tennis.
That's John McEnroe, but her husband is Patrick McEnroe.
Okay, got it. The
So
brother.
The other guy, the brother.
Got it.
Good
How
guy.
Cool. I love that. Oh, we definitely got to get tickets for that. And I love the Aventura Cultural Center.
Gorgeous
Also,
space.
like
Really
it's not far from
beautiful.
where I live, and it is beautiful.
Beautiful, yeah.
Beautiful.
And of course, this is tonight's lead anchor, FayWhat.
That's
She
me.
is a legendary events host, television and radio personality, and the host of the FayWhat show on Mondays at 9 a.m. and then on demand. Faye, I understand that your beloved, The Pet Project, will hold its Toss Fur Paws at the pub on March 16th.
Yeah, so check this out. Listen, I'm not that white. I had no idea what cornhole was, right? But guess what? I'll be playing it for a good cause, right? And so I'll be hosting this for the Pet Project over at the pub on March 16th, starting about 2 o'clock. And we're going to have a blast. So get your teams together, right? We're taking teams of 4, and you'll be able to win some great prizes, including a 75-inch TV. All right?
75 inches.
Yes, you size queens, all of you,
75
right?
inches. Wow.
You know, folks, I am a huge pet lover, as you folks know, and a lot of us in our LGBTQ plus community, our dogs are our children, okay? They're our family, you know? They're the ones that are with us through thick and thin. And the Pet Project does just that, helps people keep their dogs when they're in a financial strain, helps them with vet care, with food, with anything they need, with transportation. The Pet Project does it. The incredible Miss Sue Martino was on my show this morning, and she's been the ED of the Pet Project for 17 years. And Ed, if you can attest, like, you know, we blow up our EDs, you know? Like, we really do work you folks to the bone. And so to have somebody that have endured that longevity
17.
and still loves our community, right? Because after some time, you start going, really? This is the community I love?
She's generous,
amazing.
she's kind, she loves the animals, she goes out of her way, she helped us on Smart Ride.
Yep.
And you know,
with
she
their
used to be
trucks
a
and
bar
stuff.
owner in New York,
Yeah,
too.
I mean,
She's been with the community for a long time.
She has,
Yeah.
but she's a dynamo, and what she does with the animals to help people stay with their animals when the times are tough, whether it be financial, medical.
Yep.
You know, kind of started out more with the AIDS crisis and her helping make sure people didn't lose their animals. Because as we've talked about, when you have nothing else and everyone's gone to work, you're alone and alone in your head for hours. And if that dog is taken away from you or that cat, what have you got? The animals give you a reason to live and give you a sense of purpose. So, yeah.
They really do. So well said. Thank you so much, Glenn. So get your team together, all right? I want to see you guys all out there. It's going to be a great time. March 16th, 2 to 5 at the pub on Wilton Drive. So, folks, we are the reporters for Queer News Tonight, and this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast, and here are the bullet points of the queer news for today, Monday, March 4th, 2024. Let's begin by queering up entertainment. Did Caroline Rhea just out Pedro Pascal as gay by mistake at Sunshine Cathedral? No way, escándalo. Caroline Rhea graced the stage at Sunshine Cathedral Center for the Performing Arts over the weekend, delivering an evening filled with laughter and entertainment. Known for her iconic roles in Sabrina the Teenage Witch and Disney's Sydney to the Max, Rhea delighted the audience with her comedic prowess. During her set, Rhea humorously recounted her encounter with her daughter and Taylor Swift. Then she did a bit on past relationships. It led to a story about Pedro Pascal, the acclaimed actor known for his roles in Game of Thrones and The Mandalorian and The Last of Us. Pascal had recently won 2 awards at the SAG 2024 for Best Male in a Drama Series and Outstanding Performance by a Cast in a Drama Series. He is the gay community's heartthrob and has earned immense respect within the LGBTQ plus community for not only accepting his trans sister, but also for being a staunch and vocal LGBTQ plus ally. He has been involved in a hilarious frenemies encounter with Kieran Culkin that have led to comments like, "Suck it." and we are going to make out tonight and smelling their pits. But their story did not stop at all. During the show, Caroline seemingly accidentally turned to rumors surrounding Pascal's sexuality. Rhea jokingly remarked, quote, "He's a beautiful gay man," end quote, sparking some laughter among the audience. Did she just out Pascal at Sunshine Cathedral? You will hear me saying, quote, "He's not gay." Pascal is such a private man, so there have long been rumors and speculations about his sexuality and relationships. However, no one ever found credible proof. Regardless, the evening was a celebration of Rhea's remarkable 30-year career in comedy, leaving the audience with unforgettable memories of laughter and fun. And as far as Pascal is concerned, it seems nothing can stop the queer community from loving him and for some reason fantasizing all about him. Watch this.
You know who I met the other day? This is so name droppy, but Pedro Pascal.
Woo! Girl!
Who? Mandalorian. I know. I did not know he's a beautiful gay man.
He's not gay. He's not
He's
gay.
a beautiful gay man. And,
He's not gay.
I thought he
He's
was
not gay.
excited to meet you when he did. It didn't matter at all. Anyway.
He's not gay.
You hear
He's
me?
not gay.
He's not gay.
Is
that
He's
you?
not gay. No, that is me.
That was you saying he's not gay?
Yes.
Of course it was.
You know, of course it was me. Now here's, we've done a million stories about the queer baiting and about how he's very comfortable around our community. I honestly, maybe he's gay. I don't know. Maybe she's in the bigger in crew than I am, but I just I don't know. I didn't know what to say about that. I was like, did she just out him? And I really do believe that if he wanted to be out, he would put himself out himself. I don't think it's cool for anybody to out anyone, no matter how secure or how safe you might think it might be. It's not the right thing to do, from my seat.
Well, don't forget he and Ethan Hawke were in that Pedro Almodovar short movie that came out last year.
The lesbian.
Where they were a couple. They were a couple out in the Old West. But gay, straight, ally, what does it matter? We're lucky to have such an incredible actor, an amazing person standing up for us. We really are.
Mm-hmm. Well said.
Incredible actor.
Yeah.
Great.
Sexy as hell.
Sexy.
Come on. I want him to be gay for you boys. I do. But something in me just says he's not. His trans sister is awesome. Right. She's drop dead gorgeous, by the way. But I mean, hello, look who his brother is, right? And he's such a huge supporter for us when it comes to, it's not just on Pride Month. He'll be posting things about us throughout the year,
right.
It just doesn't strike me as he would be. It would be totally fine, trust, audience, but...
And if he was that vocal about our community, he would just come out, right?
Absolutely.
So he's definitely probably not gay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's beautiful.
But he's beautiful.
And Carolina Ray's her humor is just that sort of whisper. Because she didn't say it loudly. She was, and he's gay. It was sort of like another breath. Because,
but listen, Caroline Rhea needs to do more specials. She was funny as hell.
She seemed like she was funny.
She was funny as hell, Edward. I'm gonna send you the rest of the clips. I used to love Sabrina, right? Have a black cat. I thought I was a witch for a second, right? So I used to love Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and she was my favorite character aside from the cat, right? On the show.
Salem.
Yes.
Salem. Yeah. She told me that it was a puppet.
It was a puppet.
Was it?
Yeah.
I think they had
You bought into the magic, huh?
I totally was in it. I did.
How smooth.
And he talked.
Leave us
Wow.
alone. Glenn,
Okay,
continue.
I'm going to go on. That black cat thing into something flying from my face. Let's queer up politics. This is good. Trump and Mar-a-Lago hosted a log cabin Republican gay wedding. Wait, what? Mar-a-Lago, the luxurious resort in Palm Beach, questionable, Florida, owned by former President Donald Trump, recently hosted a same-sex wedding. John Sullivan, vice chairman of the log cabin Republicans in Tennessee, and his partner Dan Medora exchanged vows at the opulent private club. According to Midas Touch Network, a political action committee critical of Trump, the wedding was a memorable affair. Sullivan expressed gratitude to Trump for allowing them to use Mar-a-Lago for their special day. While Trump has a history of crashing weddings at his resort, there's no indication he stopped and attended this one. He was in South Carolina for a campaign rally at the time. Despite his opposition to marriage equality, Trump courted the LGBTQ plus vote in 2016, asserting traditional views on marriage between a man and a woman. Despite this, the log cabin Republicans representing LGBTQ plus conservatives supported Trump. They have faced criticism for their stance on LGBTQ plus rights, including comparisons to Jews for Hitler. The group has defended controversial legislation like Florida's Don't Say Gay bill and opposes transgender civil rights and the Equality Act. These views have sparked controversy within the LGBTQ plus community. The embracement of the log cabin Republicans' wedding may just be Trump economics, but the optics are strange with Florida's GOP and Governor DeSantis being so dramatically anti-LGBTQ plus. It is, first of all, I'm sure that Marjorie Merriweather, Post, thank you. I was going to get to that. Is probably flipping in her grave by the fact that, here this whole media empire that built that is now being handled by Donald Trump. I'm sure she would have been happy to have the boys get married there, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
The mansion was built in 1927 and has been an icon, and now it's in his hands, the Orange Man.
Orange Man.
Little hands.
But the log cabin Republicans, it states in their mission statement that they're about equality, they're about fairness, and they do everything but that. As long as they first of all, they got married in Florida, which is sort of ridiculous if you're so conservative. Like, this is the state that you don't get married in unless you live here, especially someone of that stature and notability. And then to do it at the Trump estate, you're just pandering.
Were they given the space for free? Do we know?
Trump doesn't give anything.
No, because again, so then money talks. At the end of the day, their
legal
money.
bills.
Listen, this is all for show, all right?
Yeah.
It's all for the right picture. It's all for a queer media company like us to talk about it. That's why they're doing it.
Yeah.
Again, ni regalado, okay? If you gave me Mar-A-Lago for free, I wouldn't go get married there, all right? And I feel bad, kind of, okay, before you kill me, Glenn, I feel bad for the log cabin Republicans at times because those boys are self-loathing, man. They just hate themselves so much that they feel that they have to.
Why'd you apologize?
Because I saw you were about to give me a stern look.
No,
man.
I wasn't.
Okay.
The whole subject is a stern look.
Well, insert vomit emoji here. These self-loathing homosexuals are all dressed up in tuxedos. Don't they realize that they won't be able to bring those tuxedos with them to the concentration camps that they're building in Alaska right now if Trump is reelected? Come on, what do you think Alaska's for? That's why they're built. That's why we have Alaska. This is...
Is that our Siberia?
Yes.
It's our Siberia.
That's what we're going to be.
Palin's there, but I didn't...
Wait, but Ryan Reynolds and Betty White, they were family.
I know. That was a great movie.
Yeah.
I did love that movie.
Yeah. That was the only good thing that came out of Alaska.
Yeah.
Was just that.
And salmon.
I dated a log cabin Republican once, and
did you know?
I didn't know until afterwards, and then literally it explained it all. I was like,
It explains it all.
but weird, and then he tried to justify his position on things, and it just everything was just about hate. He didn't like himself, and I wasn't a therapist at the time, but I knew I was going to be a therapist after that relationship because literally everything in a relationship, I'm like. His just explanations behind why he stood for what he stood. I'm like, but then you don't like yourself?
Wow.
Do you stand for us?
Yeah.
I was like,
do you stand for yourself?
I was like, we're never gonna have a future together. And I'm like, are we dating because I'm exotic to you because I'm a brown and you kind of like it, but you really don't want to be seen? It just was such a weird relationship. And the big thing about the log cabin Republicans, when you look at the party, no offense against my brethren around here, but they're all white old men.
Yeah.
Pretty much at this age.
Yeah.
Now I took offense to what you said.
Now
I
you
was
took
fine.
I'm sorry. I love you.
No,
I love you.
Darren does not look that old.
No, I'm sorry. No.
No, I wasn't offended.
Okay.
Now that you are a therapist,
He said white.
Do you assess people before you date them?
No, I try to leave that out.
Do you assess your friends? Do you assess me when we talk?
No, sometimes.
Yes, we. Everyone assesses everybody.
No, honestly, no. Because it's my profession, I try to divorce myself from it because otherwise I'll have no friendships, right? Or no relationships. So I'm just like, no, I just don't want to even do it,
Think about even 30 years ago, I had two friends that lived in Ohio that were staunch log cabin Republicans. And even then, we would have these same kinds of conversations, like how can you stand for people that don't want us to exist?
Yeah.
But today, I look back 30 years ago, that they really were harmless back then. They wanted to have an inside voice. They said they were making change from inside.
Yeah.
One of them is no longer involved in log cabin Republicans, but I didn't understand it then, but now I totally don't understand.
Yeah.
Now they're out. It's right there. They don't want us to exist.
Now they don't even hide or anything.
No.
No, they're out in plain open.
Anyway.
Next, let's queer breaking news. Marsha P. Johnson and Silvia Riviera will Stonewall march against Fort Lauderdale police, June 29th. June 2024 marks the 55th anniversary of the Stonewall uprising, a pivotal moment in the LGBTQ plus history. To honor this milestone, the Stonewall National Museum, Archives, and Library presents Stonewall in Stonewall. Opening its doors on June 1st, 2024 to celebrate June Pride Month, this will be part of Stonewall Pride Parade and Festival celebration in Wilton Manors. Visitors will step into a recreated Stonewall Inn, reminiscent of the iconic bar in New York City where the uprising began. This exhibit and others, including Raising the Bars, pays homage to the significance of the LGBTQ space like Stonewall in fostering community and activism. Following its debut, the exhibit will embark on the nationwide tour over the next decade, aiming to visit all 50 states by Stonewall's 65th anniversary. June 28th will mark the 55th anniversary of the Stonewall riots. On June 29th, a reenactment of the Stonewall uprising will take place at the Stonewall National Museum, launched from the Stonewall Inn replica. The reenactment will include Fort Lauderdale's gay mayor, Dean Tantelis, and the Fort Lauderdale Police Department, which is led by a gay police chief. It's emotional that the event will feature trans activists portraying key figures like Marsha P. Johnson and Silvia Riviera as the modern LGBTQ plus civil rights movement began at this moment. This commemoration serves as a reminder of the resilience and bravery of those who fought for LGBTQ rights, paving the way for progress and equality. Further details will be out soon. It is your chance to contribute to making history. Your name or a loved one can be featured in the exhibit through naming gifts starting at $300. You can purchase these gifts online at stonewallmuseum.org. What amazing. Robert Keston, who's a good friend, who's often an anchor here. I applaud him for everything that he's doing. And, he's brought some vitality to the Stonewall Archives and Museum. And this is a great exhibit, great opportunity to honor our history during Pride Month, during my birthday month.
Yes. Of course you were born on
I'm a Gemini.
Come on.
Me too.
Of course you took the
When's
whole
your
month.
birthday?
June 2nd.
I'm June 3rd.
No way.
Yes.
Wow. How nice.
Yes.
What sign is that?
Gemini.
The twins.
You crazies.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is great. I love the reenactment. I love what he's doing. I love the fact that this exhibit is going around to all 50 states. Apropos of what we were just talking about in the last segment about these self-hating, loathing gays or whatever. It's great to be all across our country and reminding us of our history and our movement.
This is how it all started, right, kids? Right? 1969 and the riots, right? I've been to Stonewall, to New York Stonewall a million times. So has Ed. We live there, and it's like one of those things where you see the neon sign and you walk through and then it's dark as shit and you have to go to the back room and it has a certain smell to it and there's like brick color everywhere. That's what it's all about, right? And so they have a Stonewall Gala up there in New York as well, where they give bricks as the award. The award is shaped as a brick, right? So I hope there'll be some kind of something that we can do there. Robert, maybe we can throw bricks. I don't know, or something.
Styrofoam bricks.
Styrofoam bricks. We won't hurt anybody. But
I remember going to the Stonewall 25 to the 25th anniversary, and there was a big march in New York, and it was so incredibly exciting. And so I can't believe that was 30 years ago, but 55 years. That's an amazing landmark.
My husband and I moved down from New York. We were in Hell's Kitchen, and in 2019, it was the 50th anniversary.
Wow.
And as you were reading that, I was like, 25? Wow, it's been that long since even that?
Yeah.
But I think the reenactment and making it something where history can tell itself through an artistic expression is a brilliant way to kind of bring in all ages into understanding what the history is.
I'd be curious to see what that's going to look like.
it's going to look dope.
Yeah, but
think about it.
Yeah, but where they're putting it, it's going to be.
Well, and like Matthew said, that history is so important now more than ever, right? They keep on trying to hide our history, right? We've got to make sure to keep that alive. And Robert, we forget what Stonewall was. So, this is a way to also, like you said, school the new kids and let them know, you know. But what a bold move to say that they're going to take this to all 50 states. Like, I'm curious to see how this is going to go down in Texas, or in places like that.
We'll go to Austin or someplace that's
Dallas
accepting, or
There's
Dallas.
gay people in the big cities.
Yeah.
But I love that bold move, and we'll definitely be watching it every step of the way.
It's great.
Next, let's queer up drag culture. RuPaul's new book dishes the tea on nasty Madonna's Eunuch joke of M during arena tours at 65. RuPaul is unleashing some major revelations in his upcoming memoir, The House of Hidden Meanings, set for release on March 5th. According to the Daily Mail, RuPaul recounts his encounters with Madonna in the 1980s, painting a picture of a superstar who viewed him as worthless and every relationship as transactional. Their first meeting at NYC's Pyramid Club led to sporadic encounters around town until they had a face-to-face. And RuPaul claims Madonna saw him as a worthless eunuch, with interactions resembling a cold transaction. Surprisingly, RuPaul admits her demeanor didn't faze him, as it mirrored his mother's cold to a fault disposition, fostering a sense of detachment. During an interview with Ronan Farrow, Ru talks about the natural progression of aging, noting the discomfort when one resists this flow, particularly in the context of Madonna's pursuits, like performing arena tours at 65. In RuPaul's own words, the energy around the Madonna thing, it feels weird, right? Chasing arena tours and grills in your teeth. However, it seems Madonna knows what she's doing, as she fired back a similar criticism during her celebration tour, challenging critics to meet her when they turn 65. RuPaul has authored 2 previous books, Letting It All Hang Out in '95 and Guru in 2018, known for its aphoristic and confessional style. This upcoming book will be his 3rd book, and it's going to be a roller coaster ride for every RuPaul fan. How old is RuPaul?
That's what I was going to say. 63.
I'm like,
RuPaul is 63 and he's talking
so
shit.
he is meeting you there.
Right.
Madonna, I mean,
Yeah, completely. And listen, unless you're as successful as freaking RuPaul, you don't talk shit about Madonna. That's the thing, all right? Because I mean, it really is that successful.
You have to be on that level.
You have to be on that level to talk shit about Madge, okay? I'm a huge, huge fan of Madonna. I've been my whole life, like many queer kids, right? And like, she was our LGBTQ ambassador when we didn't have any. You know, it was her and Boy George. You know what I mean? So, I don't see RuPaul being a judge anytime soon on Drag Race. I don't see Madonna being a judge anytime soon on Drag Race. But they don't need each other. You know, this is just a great way to get more people to look at your book. You know, people, maybe somebody that wouldn't even think about reading a RuPaul book might read it now because Madonna's in it.
Let me tell you, if I am 82 and a half years old and people will still fill up a stadium,
You're
I will
going
be up there singing my little face off. Hopefully nobody drops me in a chair like they did Madonna, but I will be giving
Cher's
it
still out there, and Lord knows she's older.
Well, I am going to talk shit about Madonna. First of
What a
all,
surprise.
Madonna isn't cold. She's just from Michigan. That explains that. The second thing, regarding Madonna still playing arenas at her age, Johnny Mathis is almost 89, and he still tours constantly. To be fair, he hasn't had as much plastic surgery as Madonna, and he does do his own singing.
Ooh.
Just a little
shade.
Wow.
Someone is.
It's like
Yeah,
you practiced
he must have left you.
that.
Madonna must have left you waiting 3 hours one day or something happened.
Next, we're going to quarterback.
That's a
Let's
smooth
quarterback
transition.
next.
That's right. Flip the page.
Andy Cohen sued by Real Housewife on drugs and rotted workplace. He says completely false. Andy Cohen, a popular gay television host and producer, faces a lawsuit from Real Housewives of New York City cast member Leah McSweeney. In the lawsuit, McSweeney alleges that Cohen and other producers fostered a workplace culture rife with drugs and alcohol. Specifically, the suit names Cohen, Bravo Media, NBC Universal Media, Warner Brothers Discovery, and several producers. McSweeney maintains that she disclosed her 9 years of sobriety, but was met with a workplace environment that failed to accommodate her disabilities. Furthermore, the suit accuses Cohen of engaging in drug use with cast members and other employees, creating an environment where substance abuse thrived. It also alleges that Cohen provided preferential treatment to individuals with whom he used cocaine. Cohen's representatives have vehemently denied these allegations, stating they are entirely false. This lawsuit follows recent accusations from another Real Housewives star, Brandi Glanville, who claims that Cohen subjected her to sexual harassment with a salacious video message. While claiming to be the victim of harassment from Cohen, Glanville is also accused of forcibly kissing Manzo and groping her during filming in the recently filed lawsuit. Glanville's attorney has denied these claims, accusing NBC and Shed Media of fabricating a #MeToo scenario. I'm sorry, has she never seen Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper hosting CNN's New Year's Eve? Seriously, I mean, here's an idea. Maybe RuPaul should host a show called Real Housewives Are a Drag Race.
Okay. All right. Okay, let's talk about Andy Cohen and let's talk about reality shows. Reality shows are, the base of reality shows is drugs and alcohol. That's how they get you to do dumb shit on camera.
Yeah.
Right? But that being said, if you have been open and out about your sobriety and your disability, which, by the way, viewers, if you didn't know that addiction and alcoholism is a disability, it is. I'm here to tell you with 9 years of sobriety that it is, okay? So if she was forthright with that information and said, I am 9 years sober, I will need this and this and this, it would be part of her rider and they would have to do it. So it's alarming that they would accommodate drugs and alcohol for some people and then not accommodate a person that's just trying to stay clean, And then when it comes to the harassment, sexual or not, none of it is right, If there's any gleam of hope that that's true, that's effed up, and she does have a right putting that case out. What do you kids think?
I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, have you not seen a reality show before?
Right.
Like, that's what they want you to make TV good.
Yeah.
And a great way to do that is to get you hopped up on alcohol. I mean, there's so many opportunities for people now to walk away from those situations as well, contractually, anything like that. So it's I don't know. There's a part of me that goes like, you're a grown-ass woman, you're a grown-ass man, make a decision and stand on it. And if you need to step back and say something, then go for it. So I don't know how they go about proving a scenario that knowingly walked into.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and you probably signed a contract saying everything would be fine and I agree to all this.
Right. This isn't the first season of the show.
Right.
Right. I mean, Lord knows, and there's so many of them around the country. Yeah. And you can just watch any one of them and know that it's all about sensational news. It's
Absolutely.
about getting people excited and revved up and on someone's team. And you even watch Andy Cohen's regular show. I mean, they do shots right on the show. It's not hidden that they do, want everyone to relax and speak their piece.
Yeah, exactly.
Sexual harassment is not acceptable by any means.
And a lot of Real Housewives, reality stars in general, they're not a Madonna who's going to have the longevity that we just talked about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So trying to
This is their
grasp
moment.
at anything that they can to maintain relevance is always on the table. You know what I mean?
Yep.
At the same token, devil's advocate, it shouldn't be acceptable in our society, right? I mean, we're saying that this is what happens, but is it acceptable, right? Like, we should be able to respect people. As somebody who's sober as well, like Faye, we should be able to accommodate everybody in our community. And drugs is legal. It's illegal. It's illegal to have drugs, right?
Yeah.
And so it shouldn't be acceptable, and we shouldn't just be embracing it, actually. I know it's the reality of which they live in, but we shouldn't be. It's fucking illegal. Like, if I had drugs as a black man in America, I'd be locked the fuck up, right? Let's be real. Or dead. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be very real about this.
Yeah, and that doesn't even matter that you're a therapist, that you're a doctor,
No,
any of those
I'm brown, so
Or you're brown when the
right
windows
away
roll
I'd
down.
be thrown right in jail right away, or killed, right? Like,
Right.
so we shouldn't accept this in society. And so I think it's very problematic. And people who are sober should be able to work just like anybody else who drinks and drug or whatever.
In that kind of environment. You shouldn't be able to be an entertainer. You should be allowed to still be at all those events, right? Whenever I work for Matthew, if we're backstage, he's like, hey, I got you some waters. You're good right over there, right? It's something very little and minute. I've been a judge for many pageants where everybody's got liquor in their bag and I have iced tea or something in mine. They took a moment to say, okay, we have a sober judge. Let's make sure she's okay. And that's on a much smaller scale.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miss Florida, by the way. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, that's, you should be able to be considerate.
Perhaps you have room for the people who want to drink and drug and a room for the sober folks who don't want to do that, right? I don't know. Seriously. Anyway. Next, we are proud of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. Supporting that partnership, we are broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at the Happening Out television studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral's Sunday International Service at 10:30 a.m.
finish tonight's Queer News headlines with a segment we call LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News.
LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News. Let's queer up the world view. 4,000 years of history, and Greece just performed the first ever same-sex wedding. In a historic move, Greece celebrated its first same-sex marriage following the recent legalization of gay marriage. Stavros Gavriladis and Dimitris Elfsiotis, sorry about that, guys, tied the knot in Nea Smyrna, South Athens. The couple, together for over 20 years with 3 children, expressed relief and joy over the legal recognition of their family. Gavriladis said that following the new law after marriage, he can formally adopt Dimitris's twins, while Dimitris will adopt his son. The historical law, approved on February 15th, marks a significant step towards equality in Greece, despite opposition from the Orthodox Church. However, some queer activists point out that the law is not inclusive enough, and it does not allow same-sex couples to have children through surrogacy.
LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News. Let's queer up entertainment. SNL says LGBTQ plus means let's go bully the queers on separate but equal New York City St. Paddy's Day parade. Saturday Night Live made a bold statement for Women's History Month with its women-centric episode featuring Sydney Sweeney and Casey Musgraves. Female cast members received significant airtime with standout performances by Heidi Gardner and Michael Che also delivered his trademark edgy humor, joking about Nikki Haley quitting the presidential race due to dishes piling up, and Staten Island hosting a separate St. Paddy's Day parade for the LGBTQ plus groups banned from the regular one. He said, quote, "Sadly, on Staten Island, LGBTQ stands for Let's Go Bully the Queers," end quote.
LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News. Let's queer up HOTspots magazine. HOTspots magazine celebrate what's hot this week with Scott Holland from March 6th through the 13th. HOTspots magazine is celebrating 40 years, and the theme of the new issue is hot sports, and on stands right now. The magazine is part of HOTspots Happening Out, the largest nonprofit LGBTQ plus media group in America. Scott Holland's popular feature, What's Hot, includes Pride Skate Night on March 7th or Moulin Rouge, the musical, on March 17th. The magazine tells you all the hottest events this month. On March 9th, join the 19th Annual Florida AIDS Walk and Music Festival, along with Diversity Honors Awards and NSU Art Museum's Creativity Exploration. Don't miss the Fort Lauderdale International Film Festival on March 10th and Tina, the Tina Turner musical, from March 12th through the 17th. Experience the award-winning Hamilton at the Arts Center from March 13th through the 24th. Stay updated on upcoming events by grabbing a free copy of HOTspots' new issue today.
LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News. Let's queer up the USA View. 2 male humpback whales have sex. One named Moby Dick, with hilarious gay Twitter comments. Recently, 2 humpback whales, usually discreet about their love lives, were caught in a passionate embrace off Hawaii's coast. Scientists Lyle Cranitchfield and Brandy Romano captured the amorous encounter, sparking a wave of witty comments on Twitter. Animals' same-sex behaviors have been noted throughout history, and though scientists do not use human labels like gay, lesbian, or bisexual, the study has caused Twitter to erupt with humor. One user posted, "The wokes are turning the whales gay." Another chimed in, "Fabulous humpback whales are taking the term humping to a whole new level." The gay internet is even calling it Moby Dick.
LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News. Let's queer up the worldview. A hate climb as man avoids rainbow-painted stairs with hilarious Spider-Man crawl-up railing. In a viral moment, an Australian man's attempt to avoid stepping on a rainbow-colored staircase backfired spectacularly as he unintentionally gave off a very gay vibe. Straddling the handrail, he appeared to be humping it, evoking a power bottom pose. The staircase, part of the University of New South Wales in Sydney, was painted in support of the Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras Parade. While the man's intent remains unclear, his awkward maneuvering sent the internet into a frenzy. That is today's news for the LGBTQ plus community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ plus evening news show.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Are you, like most of America, part of our very large television audience watching this live LGBTQ+ news broadcast right now on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and Amazon Fire TV?
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ+ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ+ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of HOTspots magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
That's right. I'm your anchor, FayWhat? And on behalf of these LGBTQ+ reporters, the incredible anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Dr. Edward Summers, Glen Weinzimer, Matthew Darren's hair, and Gregg Shapiro. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. But before we go, we have a very special interview. Tatiana Williams talks trans-inclusive diversity honors and why trans activism is so critical. The Harvey Milk Foundation and Pride Center at Equality Park will present the star-studded diversity honors March 9th at Seminole Hard Rock Hotel, along with Billy Porter, Belinda Carlisle, and more. The event will honor Tatiana Williams for her trans activism and leadership of trans-inclusive group.
The Harvey Milk Foundation and Pride Center at Equality Park will host diversity honors at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino on Saturday, March 9th. The Harvey Milk Medal will be presented to Billy Porter, Belinda Carlisle, and Spencer Batiste. The Diversity Honors Award will be presented to the Executive Director of Trans Exclusive, Tatiana Williams. Welcome to Queer News Tonight. Tatiana Williams, we are so honored to have you in studio. I was just telling you a little bit off camera how enamored and in love I fell with you today doing my homework on you. You're such a trailblazer for the trans community, especially people of color within the trans community, and it really is an honor to have you here. I want to dive right in, and you got the news that you would be presented with the Harvey Milk Diversity Honors Award. Try saying that 3 times fast. What were some of the first thoughts that entered your head? Where were you when you found out the news? What is the memory that's now affiliated with finding this out?
So what's important for me is that someone that's from trans experience and doing the work and being a Black transgender woman, when I heard diversity honors and when I got the call, what many don't know is that I worked at the Pride Center for 6.5 years, and I used to be one of the team members hosting the event outside, taking tickets.
Full circle moment.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes.
So when I got the call, I'm like, me? Because I didn't think me, because I'm like, I've always attended these events as an employee and as a staff member helping plan the event. To come around later, 3 years later after leaving the organization and being acknowledged for the work that I do was definitely an aha moment. It spoke to the work that I do and I will continue to do as long as I have breath. So I was really excited and honored, like really honored.
I mean, yeah, some of the other power players in the field that you're with, Belinda Carlisle, there's Billy Porter, Spencer Batiste. I mean, but to be fair, you've been a player in this game for quite some time right now. You've been one of the nation's top leadership names in the trans community. Tell those of us who might not know as much as we should about trans inclusive, tell us a little bit about it, or tell us a lot bit about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, trans inclusive started because myself being a trans woman, I transitioned over 30 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
at that wow. Yeah. See, that was a wow. Yeah.
And at that time, yes. And at that time, we didn't have the resources and access that we have today. So it was important to me in the work because when I started at the Pride Center, I already had incorporated the organization. However, I knew at that time I didn't have the level of experience and understanding in order to run a nonprofit in the way that I felt it should have been ran. So working at the Pride Center gave me a lot of backroom knowledge, and a lot of people don't know that I worked in the community before I formed Trans Inclusive Group, which gave me the ability to understand what that looks like in terms of programming, how to frame what it is that we need, and be able to articulate that in a way for the funders to understand it in a way to serve the community.
You submerged yourself into the community and you listened to the problems and concerns of others around who might not have a direct connection to any sort of support when it comes to trans and what it takes to go through that at any age. So I think that that's what kind of sets you apart as well. You've done the work, like you say. What is some advice maybe that you would give to younger trans humans right now who don't really see the light at the end of the tunnel and maybe don't have any access to anything? You know, trans inclusive is such a gem for us here in South Florida. What do you say to those who may not have access to something as, you know, fundamental as trans inclusive where they are right now?
I think living in trans experience, I think it's important to, like, you have to have that space within yourself. And you have to also give yourself that grace and understanding. And if you can, even if it's not a lot of people or if it's one person, you have to create a support system. And for someone that transitioned over 30 years ago, there's generations of trauma that happened, right? And it's different every generation. Something new is coming up. And in that, we do have more resources and they're available and you can access them differently than we did back then. We didn't have like social media. We didn't have the support spaces to do that. So right now in this day of transitioning, things are a little bit better. Although we may be going through the things that we're going through in our government, there's still opportunities and access to certain things, although we don't necessarily disclose or really say where everything is happening because the safety of our community is important and you don't know who's who. But if you get in those spaces and you find people like-minded or like yourself, you definitely find that access and those resources because they're here. We won't let this government deter us from being who we want to be and living unapologetic and living our authentic truth.
You just gave me the greatest goosebumps of all time, by the way, the really good ones. I want to touch upon though, because, you know, you said 30 years ago, you've done this and it was, although the government is dangerous right now, right? With what's happening on, you know, gender ID, you can't, you know, proclaim your own gender on Florida ID. 30 years ago, you know, the streets were dangerous for trans, especially people of color, the trans community. So the battle has not even begun, you know? I mean, it hasn't, but it's just, it's crazy to me to stand back really now and say, holy shit, there has been a lot of work that has needed to be done. And we need all the allies possible to really step it the hell up. You know?
Absolutely, because when you think about the life expectancy of a Black trans woman is 35 years old, right? And when you hear those numbers, and so I use my story. Once upon a time, I wouldn't tell my age. You know, I was like, you know, I'm fabulous. It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
But it does, because in this space, like I said, 30 years ago, it's a different space now. It's important to show that there is possibility. There is hope. If you really stay in it, and you have to have the faith. And fortunately for me, I had a family that was supportive, right? And I think I contribute that to my mental health. Absolutely. And my mom, I'm always like, thank you, because I was provided that space just to be who I am. And they let me develop into that. You know, they would ask family members like, how was it with me coming out? They was like, it wasn't an out. It was just out.
You were just was. It just was.
It just was.
A coming out process. Right.
It was just like, you know.
Normalize that.
Yeah. And so for me, that was a good thing. So I tried to give back what was given to me through a family structure. So with TIG, I meet people where they are, you know, and that looks different for everyone. And whatever that journey is in your life, whatever that is that you're trying to do, I'm trying to help you get there at your pace, not at my pace, not what I want, but it's at your pace. And, you know, and sometimes we have to have that like tough love, if you may.
Absolutely.
But in that, I still find that space to love everybody the way that they need to be loved and make sure that they feel that. And that's just not from community members. That's also from the team within. Oftentimes people confuse working at an organization. You have it all figured out. And sometimes when you are providing those services to individuals, you have your own stuff that you're dealing with at times, right? So understanding that from the lens of someone like myself of trans experience working in an organization, I also acknowledge that my team may also need that space, but making sure that I'm taking care of everybody, not just the people that are coming into the organization, but also making sure that I'm taking care of the people within the organization is important to me.
Well, you seem to be doing many, many things right. Diversity honors, they're on March 9th, the day after my birthday. What are you most looking forward to?
I'm excited. It's always a beautiful event,
Yes.
you know, the food, the people. So I'm excited for the event. You know, I'm thinking about what would I say, what I wouldn't say, because sometimes I consider myself to be a radical advocate.
Okay.
And yeah, uh-huh.
Okay. I was like, I want to hear the speech. Hold the water bottle. This is the award, and I'm gonna let's do a practice run.
You know, and I check the temperature in the space and
Smart.
make it, because you want to make sure that you may not need to be that. You can be something different, and you know, tone is everything. So, and I know how to deliver those messages in that space. But I think that the fact that the Pride Center, and I consider myself to be like their baby, right? Because I know that what they was trying to do, I'm an example of that, right? They knew that, okay, yeah, we put her in a position, but we know that role isn't going to hold her that long, right? And so I'm an example of, if you put your energy, time, and effort and your determination in that, you can be and do whatever it is that you want to do. So for me, it's important that they looked and they acknowledged that, you know, this was one of our people, you know, and we watched her grow, you know, get to where she is in life. So that's important to me. And I like to use myself as an example, and coming from someone.
I was just going to say that you're going to tie it into the trans inclusive group too, because you're brilliant. Sorry, keep going.
No, I like to use myself as an example. And when people would come to the group, we have a group meeting on the second Tuesday. Is for the trans community specific.
Yes.
And the Thursday, I'm so sorry.
Yes, Thursday.
And the last Thursday is for the allies. And in that ally space, we want to bring people in so they can understand the community better. And there's no, you know, wrong questions. You know, you can ask. It's a safe space.
Yeah.
If you don't have that understanding, we want to welcome that, because oftentimes people are thinking things and they won't say it and don't have a place to go and get that education and that knowledge. So we open up that space to give you the opportunity to come in there and do that with no judgment.
I think it's essential, especially as a white gay man who didn't always understand the torment that the trans community went through until later on in life. This meeting sounds like it would be the perfect, you know, second weekly routine for me, because you're not done at the end of the day learning. Like there's so much more to learn. And if you stop learning daily, you stop contributing and you become part of the problem. So for me, it was really important to read that they were both sort of separate events, but under the same family, of course, the meetings. So you have been hired to be a public speaker. You have written for everyone and everything. What is next for you? Are we getting a talk show? Is there a Netflix special? What is next for Tatiana Williams in you can use a few words, but use some teaser words if you'd like.
So people don't know that I also consult.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm working on a consulting company, but I'm also working with some people in terms of a book. So there's a few things that I have lined up, and I don't
name them all.
Well, the consulting and to the book, but I just kind of I'm one of those people that like to keep it under wraps, and then just and then
once it's ready to go.
Yes. And so I'm doing this with you. And I like to have it I develop it behind the scenes, and then, then I disclose. But yeah, so I'm working on some stuff behind the scenes, and I just want to get that up and running, and then I'll move into that next phase. But there's so much happening in terms of moving into this election season, and work is kind of really getting there. And I woke up today, as I told you, I may look fabulous.
You look fabulous, but you had a mental self-care day.
Yeah, and today I was I just did my emotionally and mentally, I was in this space, and I'm like, okay, when you're in that space, you may need to take a breather, and maybe you need to lighten your load for this week a little bit. And so that's where I'm at in that space. So, and I think about what we are going through in our community, and I'm often asked to speak in spaces, and I was supposed to be there to do that on Wednesday, but I don't have it. And people would look at people like myself and think we always have it all figured out, and don't think that we need those spaces for ourselves to be great. So what I did was gave myself permission and gave myself grace to say, you know what, lighten that load this week.
Little recharge.
Absolutely.
And that is why you are so successful at what you do, because it would take a really, really smart human to say, I can't give my all right now. I need to love me a little bit today. Take the day. So I commend you for that. And I wish more people would take a page from your book with that, because a little recharge can maybe change a major product or, the end of the week for you. It has been completely an honor to speak with you. I wish I had 2 hours, because you could take it up in the best way possible. Listen, Tatiana Williams, where can everyone follow you on social media? I'm sure that your handles are everywhere, but what's the quickest place to go right now to kind of stay updated with where you're staying updated?
On Facebook, you can go to transinclusivegroup.org, or you can go to Transinclusive Florida on Instagram.
Okay.
And I have my own personal Instagram, but that's where I, have fun.
Yeah. So work to Transinclusive Facebook group, all messages there, and Instagram. That might be another conversation that you might have
Instagram.
to. Yeah, the personal Instagram, you got to send a DM first and then get the invite. Thank you so much for joining me at the roundtable. And again, although you may say that you don't feel as fabulous, you do look fabulous, and it's been an honor. We invite you to Diversity Honors on March 9th at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel. It is an amazing and fabulous celebration of the diversity and resilience in our LGBTQ+ community. And don't miss seeing the Harvey Milk Diversity Honors Awards to be presented to Tatiana Williams. For more information and tickets, go to diversityhonors.org. See you soon.